Hello and welcome everyone to the Division 3 playoff match. It is the quarter final between Caeli and Capricorn. I'm Kachka and I will be bringing you it tonight with Milky.
Yeah, really looking forward to this game. Caeli and Capricorn sitting 4th and 5th in the standings, and this is looking to be an absolute great game because they did play only a few days ago.
Yeah, that match was the week 9 of the regular season between Caeli and Capricorn, and it happened only 5 days ago. And Caeli did take that 2-0, though they did sub in their coach Falk in both of those games, and now it will be Holberg starting in at least the game 1. So definitely interested if there will be any changes to what we saw a while back.
Yeah, really good to see Holberg back in that lineup, sitting in that mid lane. However, as we were talking before we went live, we do have to wonder if Caeli do lose game 1, will we see Falk, coming in, bringing out the big gun, saying, right, I'm here, I'm going to try to 1v9. So that is something that we could look forward to if Caeli do drop a game. But overall, this is looking to be extremely interesting because we are in patch 9.11, so the Yuumi is now available for both teams to use as well.
Yeah, we did wait the 2 weeks that SRG always puts on new reworks and champions to wait out, so both these teams, they could pick it up. Last time they faced off, they did not. And something that I will be looking at mostly in the draft is that both of those junglers, they are liking to get their lanes ahead. They will pick something early game focused to get the leads, and then how do you draft around that? How do you draft around that fact? This is something that we'll need to look. The teams are slowly getting ready, so we should be coming into the draft in a couple of seconds.
Well, we'll quickly mention I Am Your Dead. He does like those heavy gank focused junglers, so expect to see something like that Jarvan, Sejuani, maybe even a Rek'Sai to try to get those early game leads. We also know that the ADC for Capricorn HU likes, he does like late games ADC, so we might be seeing something like a Kai'Sa Braum coming out in that bot lane, maybe a Vayne as well. So expect to see Capricorn playing around HO, and just trying to get to that late game, because obviously when you've got a Vayne, there's just so much pressure that there will be.
Alright, the teams are ready and we should be jumping into the draft. Something to point out is that it will be Caeli sitting on the blue side in game 1 and Capricorn on the red side. And the reason I say this is because last time those two teams have faced off, Chang's Katarina has been banned both of the times. There was also a Z. What's it called? There's also a Z ban. I actually did lose my train of thought. Right here. Targeted against Chang in both of these games, which is going to be, I'm curious to see whether that will be kept as a ban, or if it's open, will Chang actually go for it? Because it is a playoff format, it is best of 3, you lose this one, you end your season. So a win is a must for both of the teams.
And if we're going to talk about bans, we have to mention Hunika and the Kennen. This is going to be a game where Hunika and Chang, I feel, are going to be focused when those bans come through. You mentioned the Katarina, the Z, the Kennen's going to come through as well. Dare I say, an Akali as well. The last time Hunika got, I remember it was against Crater, the Kennen was, as usual, banned out. He pulled out the Akali, and he did pretty well on it. So we could be seeing something like that coming through, maybe a Vladimir as well. So let's see now that we are into pick bans.
Alright, and now we are going to jump into it as you said, and Katarina, of course, being still the first ban removed. I feel like Chang might not really be getting to play it, especially with the amount of games he's played this season in solo queue on the champ. And I will see what Capricorn decide to remove. It is the Jarvan.
So the Kennen's still available for now, so currently focusing on I Am Your Dead. Getting that Jarvan out of the way, you still got the likes of the Sejuani and the Rek'Sai available. And most likely we're probably going to be seeing that Z ban that you highlighted earlier, Kachka.
Okay, they are still thinking about it though. Maybe they want to leave it open, maybe not. It will be Holberg in the middle lane. And this guy very much likes to play his control mages. Something like Anivia or Yana. Anything that can just farm up and do the work in the team fights. Holberg probably plays it. So removing Assassins is definitely a good call, because they can punish those lanes very effectively.
Now, the question is, okay, Silas is going to be banned away. Quite a strong pick at the minute. Tom Kent still open, as is the Kennen. And I wonder if now they're going to be banning away that Xerath from Chang and just focusing all of the bans in this first phase of draft on that mid laner for Capricorn.
Well, like, we'll remove the Caeli, which could technically be flexed into the top lane as well for Tank Boy, so it isn't a purely Chang focused ban. But that's just 3 assassins gone. Caeli, I think that could signify they want to play more for the scaling game. They want to remove those high tempo champions, so they will have the time. They've got the first pick. Something like Nautilus is definitely seen a lot as just a safe first pick, and it is really good in support. We'll see if Caeli want to go for that.
Kennen's open, and Hunica doesn't get many chances to pick the Kennen. The question is, do Capricorn have something to play into that Kennen? Do they think that Tahm Kench can work into it? So Sejuani's going to be picked up straight away. Now, again, if Hunica's Kennen's not banned, it has to be the talking point, and it's open. So I wonder whether Capricorn will take it for themselves, or will just disrespect the pick entirely here.
Yeah, definitely. And now we're just waiting. Still one more second. This is going to be the Poppy, which I believe was actually played by Tank Boy in that match, regular season match, a while back. And Zaya for IKO, he played it really well in the game 1. Then in game 2, he had a bit of an oopsie in the bot lane. So we're gonna have to see which IKO is going to show up.
Okay, so right now, Caeli have the opportunity to Rakan and stop the Zyrakan. Or they could go for something like a Lucian Braum, or... Well, the Kaiser's not open, so the Kennen's going to be picked up. So expect Holberg to take up the Rakan just so that Capricorn don't have this Zyrakan power bot lane.
Alright, however, Kennen. It actually has been locked in, and you definitely are a fan of Hunica's Kennen, even though he has been playing it less lately than he did at the beginning of the split. Now he's going to be put on that champion. And we'll see. Do they want to take the Rakan? I think that is the big question that you mentioned.
It's the sensible choice to take the Rakan away. Otherwise... Okay, so they're going to take the Sivir, so nice and slow. So possibly going to be seeing something like... anything can really work with a Sivir, but might be seeing something like a Braum just to protect that Sivir to deal with what I'm going to guess is going to be a Rakan pick. Because if... No, they're going to go Xayah Morgana. So not a lot of emphasis on the Xayah Rakan, which... does surprise me somewhat. Rakan, of course, isn't the strongest on its own, but when you've got a Xayah, it's just something that you just pick up. So Nautilus is going to be banned away, of course, still a strong pick in the current meta.
And right, and this is the kind of comp that Capricorn have run against Caeli. This is actually looking so similar to that match we had just a few days ago. I believe it was Xayah Morgana in game 1, then swapped into Xayah Lulu since Morgana was taken away by Caeli in this second game. And that was the bowling where IQ and Chris got ahead against Holberg and Gorange. And do you want to know what the bowling was that Holberg and, Nick the Panda and Gorange, my bad,
I'm going to guess there was a Sivir in it.
There was a Sivir, and then there was the Braum. That was the second champion. I'm not sure if Capricorn wouldn't necessarily... Okay, never mind.
There's the Braum ban, yes. They do not want to play against it again, clearly.
I mean, they did well against it, so that is what is surprising me about it. Because Gorange, his champion pool does go a bit deep, I feel, or maybe not deep, but definitely goes wide. He can play a wide variety of champs, so we're gonna have to see what exactly he's going to be picking up. As Vladimir Tilia, there are 5 million bans against Chang right now from Caeli.
Talia's probably more focused towards the jungle, I think. I think Talia's still the prio for her is in jungle. But yeah, taking away everything possible from Chang. And expect the mid lane pick to be the final pick. So this is going to be the jungle pick right here. And it looks like we're going to be getting a Jax jungle.
I think that is also something that I've seen from Kang the Cookie. And... how does the Jax in the jungle really work? Because that's not a pick you often see, and when you see it, it is mostly in the split push. Of course, in the jungle, you don't really get that privilege. I'm
going to get back to that in just a second, because I feel like we might be seeing a weird flex, because if we see an aggressive support being picked up from Caeli, Tank Boy, the Poppy could get flexed into support, because it is strong against engaged support, so it could still possibly be a Jax top, but if Jax is going in the jungle, it's just one of those champs that you just need to kind of power farm somewhat like a Yi, but you do have that bit more gank presence with your Counter-Strike. So Malzahar going to be picked up though, and that's a really smart pickup by Caeli, just because it's really safe, and it means that, because they are blind pick in the mid lane, it means that Chris won't be able to have any way of completely outplaying this, especially if he takes the Xerath.
Alright, we're waiting for you, Capricorn. What is the last pick? Xerath, you said it. It is now being hovered, and it is going to be locked into the composition of Capricorn. Alright, so we get all the comps laid before our eyes. What do you make of it? Because I see a lot of scaling on both sides.
I'm going to go to this mid lane because I think it's really interesting, because Caeli knew that Chang... I can't see how they wouldn't know that Chang was going to play Xerath. I mean, we just took a quick look at his solo queue games and we knew that the Xerath was going to come through. So they knew it was coming. That means that they picked Malzahar expecting that Xerath to come through. But I like Xerath into Malzahar purely because you've got so much poke. It's so easy to get rid of that Malzahar passive, so that when Cuck the Cookie does turn up for a gank, that Counter-Strike will land because the passive, the spell shield, will not be there. However, in terms of the overall team fight, you're looking for more of a kind of team fight from the side of Caeli, because you've got that Glacial Prison, you've got the Slicing Maelstrom from Hunica, and of course you've got a Sivir with the Boomerang Blade and the Ricochet, which will deal so much damage. Whereas if you're playing on the side of Capricorn, you're looking for that poke. You're looking for Chris to land a Dark Binding on someone, and Chang to get off all of his damage with Aichio getting off that CC as well. So I do like to always highlight the pick and delete versus the team fight. The team fight's clearly on the side of Caeli, and your pick and delete is going to be on the side of Capricorn.
But then with that, I can also see pick potential on Caeli, because definitely there is the range with the Binding and the Xerath. But if you get your CC with Sejuani, Malzahar, maybe even Gorange, if he, on this Alistar, if he gets close enough, then you can lock down people for Capricorn very easily. And whereas Xayah has got the Featherstorm, Chang doesn't have anything to keep himself alive.
True. However, I do agree with you with Caeli having that pick potential, and that pick potential is coming through in mainly from the Glacial Prison of I Am Your Dead and the Malzahar ultimate. But the issue with the Malzahar ultimate is if he does try to make that flash ultimate, he can only get one person with the ultimate. That means that you have a Poppy who has the E, which can knock Malzahar out of the ultimate, and of course you have Aichio and Chris, as well as Cuck the Cookie, who can get off a lot of damage onto Holberg during that channel period. So while Holberg can get that pick off with the ultimate, he's still susceptible to a lot of damage. That being said, I do really like just the entire team fight, just because of Hunica and I Am Your Dead. I feel like when we do get to a team fight and we see that, if Hunica flashes in, gets the Zonya with the Slicing Maelstrom coming through, it's going to be so easy for I Am Your Dead to hit the Glacial Prison, and then Holberg will just have that bit more safety in using the ultimate.
Alright, now let's take a look at who are we going to be paying attention to on both of those teams. I feel like it's always really important to set your expectation as to which lanes are we eyeing up. And for me, now focusing on Capricorn, I definitely am looking at this mid and bot lane. First of all, Chang is playing against Xerath, a champion he is pretty good at, and he has got the range advantage against Holberg. But then also Aikyo and Chris, they have played that bot lane against Caeli, and they have done pretty well. And the only thing that went wrong was that it was Falk playing top lane for Caeli in that match, and he got really far ahead. So far ahead that it didn't even matter in the end. Now there is no Falk. So if Capricorn do get those lanes ahead, they will probably win the game.
Yeah. And it's going to be really interesting. I think we're going to have to put a lot of focus, or a lot of attention we'll have to spend on that mid lane and the bot lane. While I have hyped up the Kennen on Hunica, I think Poppy is a safe pick, and it should be alright in that top lane, but I am not going to discount the power of Hunica's Kennen. But expect mid lane to be very, very spicy. Expect I Am Your Dead and Cuck the Cookie to be in mid lane a lot because neither champion has a lot of mobility, and it's going to be easy to knock them down, especially when we hit level 6.
Alright, we are going to be jumping over to the loading screen, so the game should be up in about a minute, provided there are no pauses, which could happen. Hopefully it will not. I'm just looking through the summoner spells and there aren't really any surprises. Everyone is just playing what you would expect. And yeah, this is going to be all about that mid lane. I feel like I do have to echo your point, since there isn't a lot of mobility on both of those champions, and whereas Malzahar's Void Shift will provide him with some basic safety once that shield is broken, and it can be done easy with an Arcanopulse, he's very susceptible to ganks.
And as usual, we have entered the game, so the straightaway pause just to make sure everyone is good, and we've already got a DC straight away.
Yeah, I'm not even in game, so I do not mind that.
Oh, okay.
At the moment, but yeah.
Spoiler alert. But going back to the game, I think when we take a look at this bot lane, you've got the Sivir Alistair heading into that Xayah Morgana. And it's all going to come down to whether Chris can land those Dark Bindings. It should be entirely in favor of Capricorn, that bot lane. And the bot lane of Caeli is just, let's survive until later on. Let's survive until Nick the Panda gets some crits, gets those crits rolling with the ricochets. And of course, Gorons can't really do much in terms of engaging just because of the black shield that Chris has on the Morgana. So expect that to be a fairly stable lane and Capricorn to be pushing that in. Mid lane is going to be kind of even, but I think in the top lane, Hunika is also going to have that lane pushed in. So yeah, I do still think this is going to be entirely in favor. The game is going to be entirely focused around this mid lane.
Alright, I do see Far complaining about Gorange's lobby. Let me show you a secret. Caller's lobby usually does the same thing when she's producing, so we always end up coming into the game a minute late. So it's not only Gorange. But yeah, I probably shouldn't be saying that on stream.
And we haven't hyped up, have we? You know, this is Color versus Falk coaching.
Oh yes, it is the yes, the coaches.
Yeah. Battle of the coaches.
We already saw the draft, however, now we are in the Rift already for a while. As you can see, the post has been lifted. Not too much early aggression, and not surprisingly, there isn't that much potential from either of those teams to make those level 1 plays. What I will be looking at is where those junglers are starting and whether they can track each other and look for ganks where they know the other person won't be able to counter gank them.
Yeah, I'd expect both junglers just to be starting on their red buff. As standard, red buff on Jax is pretty normal, and I'm Your Dead will just want the fast clear from bot lane, just because you get to clear your jungle that little bit quicker, get your buff, and get rolling. Don't forget, Scuttle Crabs do come up that little bit later, so both junglers will probably go to their Krugs or Raptors to clear those off, and as predicted, both junglers starting at the red buff.
That means IQ and Chris won't have to give a leash, but they will still decide to come late to the lane, maybe play a bit of a deception game. Actually, if you take a look at that, both of the top and bot laners showing late to the lane could maybe confuse some things. There were red pinks coming through the side of Capricorn to the red buff, so they will know that I Am Your Dead started right there, and we're just transitioning over to the laning phase. Nothing major happening.
Yeah, and it's fairly standard, you know, just delay your entrance into the lane just so the enemy doesn't know where you're starting. The only time you really break that rule is when you really want to shove in your wave. And with the Xayah Morgana, against the Sivir Alistair, there's no point, because even if you shove in the wave, Sivir will just clear it out straight away.
Alright, Tangboy just going in onto Hunika in the top lane, getting a bit of damage down. Actually a decent trade in his favor. The problem is we probably aren't going to be expecting that much action to be happening early game. Jax and Sejuani, they probably need a couple of levels under their belt, and the lanes themselves we predicted are going to be pretty slow, maybe with the only exception of mid lane, but that is only really the case post level 6.
And yeah, we highlighted the importance of that level 6, especially in that mid lane. But that being said, I Am Your Dead still has a lot of gank potential with the Sejuani.
Alright, I am your dad. He's sticking around the bot lane. There is a ward though for Capricorn, so they will be able to spot him. He's actually going in for a invade onto the blue buff. Okay, he's just going to place the ward. He wants to know where Kag the Cookie currently is positioning, and those two junglers might... Yeah, they might find themselves fighting, and actually, I am your dad could be collapsed upon. Does use the Arctic Assault to get away from the danger. Good escape there, but Skullcrab goes over to Capricorn.
This is what we were mentioning in the loading screen, that Capricorn would have that bot lane priority, and that's come in so important, rotating over just to ensure that they're able to get that bot side Scuttle Crab. And I'm your dad going to head over to his top side jungle, so he might be able to get the top side Scuttle Crab as well.
Alright, we're gonna have to look at how that exactly goes. Taking a look down the scoreboard, Hunike gets a pretty nice CS lead. Of course, he's ranged into melee in the top lane, so he's able to bully Tank Boy out, whereas Chang, he had a bit of a CS lead. Now it is just 3, so barely noticeable against Holberg in the mid lane.
Yeah, but Holberg is running a little bit low on HP, so he has to be careful, doesn't want to get caught out by the Shocking Orb.
Definitely do not. And this is where I just want to revisit our expectations for these teams coming into the match. Caeli, they won the week 9 match against Capricorn, so they definitely look stronger. But Chang in the mid lane, he is someone that you will need to watch out, especially if he is able to manage to find himself a lead. On a champion like Xerath, he will be needing to snowball. And I just want to see how Capricorn play to that in the next upcoming minutes.
And actually something interesting I've just spotted in this interaction between the Xerath and Malzahar in this mid lane is Chang's able to get rid of the Voidling so quickly just by using the Eye of Destruction. So it's actually quite a good matchup for Chang, and as you can see there, he just gets rid of it instantly, which is making the wave clear for Holberg so much more difficult.
And it actually starts to develop into the CS lead that I mentioned before. Right now sitting at 10, Chang goes for the buy into the base. He's going to get some items. Let's see what he can get on his first recall. It is a full lost chapter, which is a big deal for a Xerath. It gives you so much mana sustain.
Yeah, of course, getting that mana regen with every level up, and the earlier you can get it, the better, because you're leveling up quicker, of course, at those lower levels. So expect him just to be poking that little bit more and trying to rotate possibly into some of these side lanes.
And the thing is, if you look at the counterpart, Holberg only able to get 2 amplifying tomes. So right now Chang will definitely have the advantage when it comes to playing this middle lane 1v1. And we will see. Like, it is all for those players to make the action happen. But definitely Capricorn have now got an opening in the mid lane to try and bully Holberg away.
The other thing I want to highlight is, again, going back to this Xayah Morgana, they have the priority. Actually, we're going to be getting a gank in the bot lane.
I'm they're trying to go in onto Chris. The Black Shield has already been gone. Good flash away from the Pulverize, but that is the Permafrost follow-up, the Ignite, and it is going to be the first blood for I Am Your Dead. Now look in the mid lane, the Nether Grasp going to go get a full channel onto Chang, chunks him down to 300, and it is just 1 kill over to Caeli.
Yeah, but crucially in the mid lane, the ultimate is still available for Chang, and he's getting the damage off. If he can get him low enough, he can pull out the Rite of the Arcane after he gets under turret. Of course, doesn't want to get caught up by I Am Your Dead mid-channel, because he would look very foolish indeed.
And talking about the jungler for Caeli, he's looking for a gank onto Chang. Both Sams and the ultimate are still available. Cookie is over the wall. I Am Your Dead uses the Arctic Assault. He's going to get attacked by that Jax. He just takes a smack to the face and is going to go away.
You can't underestimate the Sejuani damage coming from the Arctic Assault. And Holberg, crucially, has his Void Shift back available. But Chang going to get some damage off here, and Holberg's going to have to be really careful now.
Yeah, you mentioned the Rite of the Arcane being a possibility. Holberg has only the flash. He doesn't have anything that's a barrier right here, and here it is. The first shot is going to miss, the second going to connect. Good silence, but Holberg forced to burn the flash. Now Gorange, he's looking for a roam. He's just going to eat a stun in his face, and Caeli unable to pick up the kills.
Good Shocking Orb there as well by Chang, just to deny any...
in the middle lane going in with the Slicing Maelstrom onto Tankboy. Good Keeper's Verdict to keep himself safe, and Hunike, he's going away empty-handed.
Yeah, but crucially, look at that CS advantage in the top lane, and I want to go back to this bot lane because we mentioned that IQ and Chris should have the prio. And with Chang winning his lane as well, you should expect them to have priority for this first Drake, which is a mountain. So it is something that you will see your laners coming over and maybe a possible skirmish for this first Drake of the game.
However, let's look at the vision that is being set up around the river, because so far I see a lot of red wards. Right now, Gorange will just take a stroll down and look for controllers, but Capricorn, despite not really doing that hot in the bot lane and mid lane being fairly even, they have been able to control the vision very well.
They just simply got caught out by a gank from I Am Your Dead. Aside from that, they should be winning. Although, surprisingly, something to mention is IQ is about 20 CS down on Nick the Panda, which is slightly surprising, and it just highlights how easy it is as well for you to just wave clear with Sivir regardless of your regardless of whether you have lane prior or not.
And also the fact that you can deny the black shield, denying the engage from Gorange in lane at least. It is so big because as an Alistar, it doesn't give you too much option but to roam. And this is why we see Gorange go for those mobby boots and fishing in the mid lane time and time again. The problem is, every time he goes away from the lane, there is a ward that will spot him. And Chang just steps back and laughs to himself.
And speaking of Chang, Chang has got a blue buff now, so expect just perma abilities coming through in the mid lane as I'm Your Dead is going to take the Raptors and then may look for a rotation to this mid lane. He does have the Glacial Prison available to him.
You've got a long range stun, you can lock down this Xerath. Chang is positioning safely. He's still got both his summoners available to him. We probably are going to wait until he opens up with the Rite of the Arcane to finish Holberg off and then go for the punish. Another Arcanopulse connects. And here comes I'm Your Dead. He eats the Shocking Orb as well as Eye of Destruction. And that was just an awkward exchange in the mid lane as I'm Your Dead comes in, goes out, doesn't accomplish anything.
They're trying to bait it as well. Cuck the Cookie is nearby.
IQ is going to get engaged on. That Boomerang Blade from Nick the Panda dealt so much damage to him. You really gotta be careful because now that Gorange is level 6, he will definitely not be afraid to go for the engages.
And that's just the difference between a Caulfield Warhammer and the BF Sword Sivir. Really going to start getting just that little bit more power, especially when he starts getting some of those crit items. And IQ just not able to spam any abilities until he gets the Essence Reaver.
I mentioned the vision being really good for Capricorn. However, look at what Caeli did right now. They have pretty much swung it all back. They have managed to reclaim the control.
IQ might get caught out here.
Oh, IQ, yeah, good that you mentioned it. Gorange, he tries to go in for the combo. That Boomerang Blade, you still have to watch it. IQ escapes without burning anything. And he's going to get to live another day, but Caeli just slowly but surely gaining control over that area of the map.
As, again, just taking a look at mid lane, Chang no longer has the blue buff and starting to even out, but again, you've got that CS discrepancy that we mentioned earlier. Here comes Rite of the Arcane.
It is going to connect onto Holberg at least one shot, but not enough to finish him off. Instead, Caeli, they're focusing on the objectives. They're going to get that Mountain Dragon. Bonus damage to objectives, definitely something you will want in the long term. As now Gorange, he tries to go for the gate. Oh, he gets a double pulverize! The Ignite down onto IQ. He's forced to flash and heal away, but the trample might still get him instead. Chris might be in a lot of trouble. I know that he's going in with the Flay, the Winter's Wrath under the tower, and he picks up the kill. Chris is sniped with that Boomerang Blade. Now Cuck the Cookie jumping in. Counter-Strike does not find the stun onto that Sejuani. I'm Dead just jumping over that wall, and Caeli get 2 kills and they get out without losing anyone.
Really well played by Caeli there. The W to knock IQ and Chris together, followed by the flash pulverize, was beautiful. Really, really nicely played by Gorange. And I think, does that count as a 200 IQ play?
It counts as a beautiful mechanical play. I'm not sure if 200 IQ, but damn, that was spicy from Gorange, definitely.
Very spicy. But in the top lane, we're getting a bit of a skirmish.
Hunike is going to get knocked into the wall, just trading back in onto Tank Boy. He's looking to complete his recall. So unless Tank Boy keeps going in, Hunike might not want to overcommit.
Yeah, slicing
He's losing
Maelstrom.
HP, yet the slicing Maelstrom is still definitely available. But Hunike, 300 HP, is going to run under his own tower, complete the recall. He has got the TP if he wants to come back in. Or he might just run up to the top lane, and you can already see Gorange actually pathing towards that top side.
Yeah, and I mean, we've had... Oh, as Chang getting off a lot of damage right off the arcane is available in a few seconds.
Yeah, Albert will need to watch himself. He
Oh, the
still
flash.
have the flash, and as I say this, he uses it, but I believe the damage still
Here
did
it
come
comes.
through. And there it is, the right of the arcane, and is trying to scout for Holberg, but he is sitting sufficiently behind to be safe. And we have a lane swap being initiated by Caeli.
And as you mentioned, Nick the Panda Gorange going to head into that top lane. Bit of an early lane swap considering that all the turrets are sitting at above 4 plates. So kind of a weird decision to swap this early on. So I'm not quite sure why they went for it. It may just be because Tank Boy has picked up that Spectre's Cowl, the MR, so that they want to put Kennen in a different lane so that the MR doesn't do anything now for Tank Boy.
Or there aren't really any objectives bot lane, and look at what Caeli are doing already. They have their strong lane in the Civil with the IE, they put it bot side, and they secure the Herald, because there is no Dragon Lore. At least they should, alright, there is no steal from Character Cookie. He uses the Counter Strike, and for right now, Capricorn, they just aren't really getting a lot.
Slicing Maelstrom.
He's going in 1 versus 2 in the bot lane. Chris goes golden with that stopwatch. The feathers pulled by Akio do not do anything, and the Soul Shackles do neither anything to Hunike. He just gets the 1 kill, 1 versus 2, and
now
this is what you want to see from Caeli.
And now in the top lane, Tank Boy is going to be forced to back the hell away as the Rift Herald will get off a charge. It's probably going to get a second charge, so as the members of Capricorn making their way to the top lane now.
There's going to be a 3 versus 3. That's a good stun. A lot of chances he down onto I Am Your Dead. He's already down to 300 and he might be just dropping. Shut down. Over to Tank, but I think the Panda, he's looking to clean up. Flash away from Character Cookie under the tower. He is in the safe range right now. Gorange dropping low as well. Chang is still doing a lot of work. There it is, the jump forward. Character Cookie picks up the kill with a leap strike. Now Nick the Panda, he needs to make one hell of a footwork, but Chang lands all the shots. And Capricorn, they get 3. They will lose Tank Boy in exchange, but that's a 3 for 1.
Yeah, it was a good final boomerang blade coming through from Nick the Panda to at least get 1 in their favor. But remember what we said about the pick and delete versus the team fight. And they managed to get the pick. Chang coming in with the shocking orb. And now Capricorn are going to make their way onto this mid turret.
It is dropping low on health, and Holberg, he just cannot really defend that. Hunike looking for a flank. Slicing Maelstrom not available. This is what you want to see. Capricorn, they are striking back on the top of that 1 play. They get 3 kills, they get a tower, and that gold is now only 1,000.
Yeah, and it's 1 turret each. Don't forget the mid lane turret for Capricorn is low, as is the bot lane turret for Caeli. Currently sitting 5 kills to 3 and only 1k gold in it between these two. So very closely contested first game of this best of 3 series.
Neither of those teams willing to give an inch, and let's take a look at the items, because that is always really important to keep your eye in the mid game. What are the power spikes that have been completed? You've got the 1 items on all the carries for Caeli, and you've got also all the 1 items on all the carries on Capricorn. Everyone else are kind of behind. Of course, junglers have completed their enchantments. And now that was a good black shield from Chris, but what that means is that you will be starting to see those high damage scenarios, and it is important that you don't get outnumbered, because if an enemy team has more carries than you do, you're most likely losing that fight.
So regarding what you were saying on power spikes, for Hunike, it's when he gets his Rabadon's death cap or his Hextech Protobelt. He's building towards the Hextech Protobelt now, I believe. So that will be his power spike. Whereas for the bot lane, they both kind of come at the same point. Both of them want to get that Infinity Edge, Essence Reaver, and 1 Zeal item. And that's when they'll really start burning through team players.
Alright, next objective on the map. Ocean Dragon. Caeli, they have just swept some vision, they have been poked. However, what is more important for Caeli to take at this point, I feel like, is this mid lane turret. Because Capricorn have been successful in knocking that objective down for Caeli, so they can afford to go into the jungle and set up vision. Caeli cannot really do the same without that safety of the mid lane turret being gone. And now in the bot lane, actually, Akio, he's hitting so much. The boomerang blade from Nick the Panda just finishes IQ off in style, and that's a 3-1-2 Sivir right here.
Yeah, and Sivir, Nick the Panda being absolutely huge. Now, Jack's going to get caught out.
The character Cookie, he doesn't really have the jump. Holberg picks up the kill. Caeli are just knowing that's a flash. Another grasp onto Chang, who flashes out, uses the barrier as well. Shocking up down onto I Am Your Dead. He tries to stick out the down flash with courage, and he's going to get a kill with the head of pulverize. He has to use that unbreakable will to break the CC free, and he will be surviving this fight. Caeli, they are just getting kills left, right, and center.
And Caeli, this is what we talked about, grouping up as that team in the mid lane. They're able to cut the cookie with a lovely little pick, and then Chang just can't do anything against the amount of flash CCs that he had to go through. And Caeli will now take the second Drake of the game. It is an Ocean Drake, so this will be very, very nice for the likes of Holberg and Nick the Panda.
And also, it just gives you that sustain against the poke, against Chang, because one of the major strengths of Xerath in mid game is the fact that you can poke down the members before the fight, and then when they don't have their full health bars, it is much easier to kill them and to subsequently win the team fight. That Ocean Dragon is going to be one hell of a problem for Capricorn right now. And my question to you is, how do Capricorn come back? What do they do?
Well, I think Capricorn do have to rely a lot on Chang and IQ because they are both super, super strong late game. I think probably rank Xerath as one of the strongest late game mid laners out there. So watch out for him in that late game because there will be a lot of poke damage coming through, and he should outscale Holberg. Regarding IQ and Nick the Panda, they're both really strong late game. I personally prefer Desire late game to Sivir. That being said, Nick the Panda, of course, is going to be very good at wave clearing and shoving in those waves. So I think for Capricorn, they just have to wait that little bit. Wait till they get that bit stronger and they can outplay against Hunika. They need to put members in the side lanes and just push those side lanes in and prevent Hunika and I Am Your Dead to being able to combine their ultimates together.
Right, this is what we're watching. Now, Holberg in the top lane. He's going to get engaged upon, but now another grasp down onto Chang. He's already half HP, 100 and dropping! And his Holberg is going to get the kill. Chang so close to finding the outplay, but doesn't get it in the end.
I'm Your Dead with a very nice Glacial Prison there, just to ensure that just to ensure that Chang can't find that one extra auto attack.
And this is starting to look tough if you are Capricorn, because the Baron is already up on the map, and even though there are a lot of red wards, kudos to Capricorn for setting that sort of vision, whilst being 4,000 gold in the deficit. Caeli can still probably go to that objective whenever they want, and there will be a small chance of Capricorn managing to get a steal or the team fight.
Look at this, Caeli looking for the pick, but they don't know that they're sitting on a ward. So, in fact, if Capricorn play this clever, they could bait out and engage, but they're not. They're just going to leave them be. Also, just want to go back to itemization. Hunika's picked up a Void Staff, and that's just purely for Tankboy, because Tankboy, building a lot of MR, has got the Merc Treads, has got the Spectre's Cowl, will probably be building into a Spirit Visage soon as well.
Yeah, Holberg just throwing down the Malefic Visions onto Chang, a bit of the back and forth between the mid laners, who are assigned to sit in this top lane as we speak. Hunike still doing work on that tier 1 in bot lane, but Tankboy, he is sufficiently tanky. He's barely losing any HP. Now he's going in onto Hunike with a Hammer Shock. Hunike already chunked to half, and Tankboy keeps going in with the chase. Another Hammer Shock is going to connect Lightning Rush from Hunike away to safety. And he doesn't want to take any trades against Tankboy right now.
And that's just the power of the amount of magic resist that Tankboy has, which is why that Void Staff is so important. But Cook the Cookie might be getting caught out.
He's just slightly overstepping to try and get that control ward, but he's got support of his mid laner, and he will be able to get it in the end. It does start to become, I'm sorry, this game does start to become this Baron dance, the back and forth. Alright, we're gonna get some vision here, and you have to give it up. Alright, now we're going to try and move in, and Caeli being ahead should have some sort of edge.
Oh,
but
in the bot lane.
Yeah, Tankboy is going to get stunned with that Mark of the Storm, and Hunike doing pretty well in those long-range trades. You see, this is what happens when Poppy cannot get close to the cannon. You suddenly lose half of the health you have, and you cannot keep trading.
And I thought Hunika might try to go for the 50-50 with the Slicing Maelstrom, but he thinks better of it, because if he dies, the TP in from Tankboy would almost confirm Capricorn getting this Baron.
Alright, something I wanted to talk about is whenever there's a Malzahar, there is the idea of a QSS tax. You need to get a QSS, otherwise you're going to be, as they say it in the industry, screwed. And the only QSS I see is actually on Nick the Panda, which makes sense with all the long-range CC available for Capricorn. But you're going to have to start counteracting Hullbreak sometime soon, because those Flash Nether Grasp, especially at the 24-minute mark that we're approaching, become a very real threat that Caeli can use.
Yeah, and this is why I was also slightly surprised by Chang picking up that barrier. I was expecting a cleanse to come through.
Cleanse doesn't remove suppression.
Does it not?
No, it doesn't.
I always get that mixed up. However, Chang right now building towards that Rabadon's Death Cap. After the Rabadons, expect a Banshee's Veil to come through, because it is the QSS item for mages.
Alright, it is going to be a Cloud Drake now, picked up by Caeli. They are still extending their... Why did I say Caeli? So anyways, they are still extending their gold lead. Now, I mean, okay, there are still 4,000 actually. I am just trolling with it. The Baron is still going to be the next objective. What I am though going to be paying maybe a bit more attention than you normally would is that bot lane 1v1 matchup, although actually it will have to be interrupted as Chang channels the Rite of the Arcane. I'm not sure if he did throw any shots out onto anyone, but he definitely doesn't find anything.
Not able to find anything just yet, but Chang might be getting caught out now.
Oh, flash forward from Holberg. That's a great Glacial Prison, and Gorange gets the kill. Credit now. Caeli, they are in numbers advantages. They could be turning towards that Nasher.
Yeah, Gorange probably could have donated that over to Nick the Panda, but I think that they could possibly start on the Baron here. Both top laners sitting in that bot lane with a TP available. So might just see Caeli start this and try to turn. Of course, you've got the headbutt pulverized from Gorange to play around.
Okay, look at this ball line. Tankboy jumping in onto Hunike. Hunike did get this stun off to try and keep him at bay. Another heroic charge into the Hammershock, into the Iron Ambassador damage. The Baron in the meantime has been commenced. Character Cookie behind the pit. He's got the flash, but there's a lot of CC to keep him locked up. Mostly that Nether Grasp will make sure he cannot smite, and he doesn't even go for the contest. Caeli pick up the Baron, and at 26 minutes in, there are 6,000 gold in the lead.
Yeah, and Caeli are really starting to snowball, but now
Tankboy in the middle lane, he gets stand up once again. The Keeper's already has been interrupted. Good flash away to get from the CC, but it costs him that Summoner, and we have to see what can Caeli get with this Baron buff.
Well, I'm interested to see. They should push this up as 5. They don't quite have the Rabadon's Death Cap yet on Hunica, but they should probably group up just to protect this minion. And look at the TP onto the Baron Empowered Cannon minion just to keep it alive for even longer.
Hunike did take a lot of damage though, just because of that TP. Now Rite of the Arcane. The first shot misses, so that's the second one. And Hunike does survive, but that teleport did cost him quite dearly. Chang doesn't have the death cap yet. Now Gorange going into the backline. He finds the double knockup, and the team fight is initiated by Caeli. Hunike already picked up the first kill to Character Cookie, and Chang is next. The kite falls down. IQ under the inhibitor tower. He's just trying to throw in some feathers, but there is not enough. Caeli pick up 3. They are looking for even more. IQ under the tower. He is stuck. That's a double kill for Hullbreak. I Am Your Dead picks up IQ, and Caeli with 4 kills are looking to break open the base, and they might be even going for the finish.
I think they can, and there's the next member of Capricorn up is Cut the Cookie in 13 seconds, but they are absolutely destroying the base right now.
The first next to start falls, the second one is next to follow, and in a commanding fashion in a game 1, Caeli, they are looking to start off this quarter final with a win against Capricorn.
Yeah, and they played that really well. When you asked how are they going to do this with the Baron buff, I was thinking it's going to be difficult because of the amount of wave clear from Chang. But they find a brilliant engage. They find the fight, and they turn, and well, they didn't turn it, and they turn that fight into the win.
And Caeli, they just show dominance. They don't even need Falk to win against Capricorn. I think that is the biggest takeaway that I am getting from this game, because one of the questions I had is how much Falk was contributing to the wins that we saw Caeli get, and apparently not that much. At least based off this one game. Please don't kill me, Falk. And yeah, Capricorn, it is going to be a tough road. It is a best of 3 quarter final, let's not forget. So they are on a match point. They will need to win the next 2 games. Or sorry, they are against the match point. They will need to win the next 2 games to move on to the semifinals. And Caeli, they are happy with where they are.
Yeah, and looking forward to game 2. Maybe this time Capricorn will show that respect towards Hunika. And while Hunika's Kennen didn't exactly carry the game, I think it is something that they will want to prioritize just because of how far ahead Hunika was able to get in that.
Alright, well, by the way, on that note, we are going to throw it over to the short break, so stay around to see whether Caeli will book the 2-0 tickets to the semis, or if Capricorn takes us to game 3.
Sound muted. Sound resumed.
Welcome back, everyone. We are here after the break. The players are slowly getting ready for the second game of this best of three quarter-final match between Caeli and Capricorn. Of course, Caeli are now on the match point, and we'll see if they can close it out here.
Yeah, Caeli took game one rather convincingly and looking to do what they did in week 9 of the regular split and take a 2-0 clean sweep. And personally, I think I'd like to see Capricorn just put a bit more focus on to Chang in the drafting phase. Maybe ban out some stuff from Holberg, just so Chang can try to assert a bit more dominance and try to get that a little bit ahead and try to carry Capricorn as he has been able to do for the majority of Springsplit.
Alright, and this is what we are looking at. Also, some other adaptations that I could be expecting from the side of Capricorn is maybe try and draft for something else in that bot side, something, and what I mean by that is something where you can get ahead. Because they didn't really fall behind that much apart from in CS department, in which the lead did grow quite significantly as the game went on, but IQ and Chris didn't necessarily lose the 2v2 straight up. So if you pick something that is more aggressive, you could be looking to play through there, because let's be honest, Holberg is always going to play something that can just farm under the tower, and that is hard to punish. So Chang, he most likely will not be able to get big leads by himself.
Yeah. And I mean, you could maybe see something really flashy coming out, and that's why I want to see in the draft phase Capricorn take away those kind of good control mages that Holberg can play. Take away that Malzahar, maybe take away the Lissandra as well, just so that Chang has more ability to get ahead and just to punish Holberg, even if it's not getting kills, just to deny some CS, just so that he has more opportunities to rotate to the side lanes. Like, I mean, I know it's not meta right now, but for example, something like Aurelian Sol, where, you know, he could get a lead and then rotate a lot to something like a Talon. Again, I know it's not the most meta champion, but something where he can get a bit of a lead, rotate to one of the side lanes and get an advantage. With regards to the bot lane, I do not know why IQ and Chris didn't go Zyra Khan. They had it open to them. It was on a platter, and they didn't go for it. Instead, they went for the Zy Morgana. IQ likes to play Caitlyn. Let him play Caitlyn. Caitlyn Morgana makes more sense than Zy Morgana. Yeah, it just didn't make sense to me.
Alright, the teams are ready, so we should be starting the game in a couple of seconds, just waiting for everyone to finish their last touches. I'm curious, is Chang going to receive 3 bans from Caeli at the beginning as well? Because, I mean, why would you fix something that isn't broken if you're Caeli?
I was about to say the same thing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And for Caeli, everything went perfectly to plan. The only issue they had was ever so slightly, well, A was Chang with the Xerath with the amount of poke, and B was Tank Boy just had so much MR, it was difficult for Kunika to do stuff. But as soon as it became into a team fight, all that MR didn't help against Nick the Panda. Sure, he had a Sunfire cape, but Nick the Panda was still able to just burn through him. So the only real issue for them was that Xerath. So maybe the Xerath will get banned out this time. It makes more sense, the Xerath banned, than I don't remember what they banned in game 1. So the Katarina ban makes sense, the Zed ban makes sense, and then ban away that Xerath. That's my personal opinion.
Alright. I mean, I think there is a problem with banning out the Xerath sometimes, because if you want to stick to the Caeli ban, then there's nothing stopping Capricorn from picking the Xerath up in their first phase. And Caeli, they have dealt well with it. Like, yes, Chang was still a threat, but it wasn't something that you couldn't control as Caeli. You were just able to lock him down, Gorange's engages were on point, and at that point, the Xerath in game just doesn't do anything. Just some information, actually, one team wasn't ready, some small bathroom break, so we should be we should be getting into the draft in maybe 3 minutes maximum. I'm gonna call it like that, and right now, if you're a Capricorn, then this is not your regular best of 3 in the season. This is the quarter-final. You are actually fighting for your season to continue. So they are going to be probably... sorry, I forgot. Didn't even get to mute my mic. Anyways, they will not get to play anything else after that. So they might have to resort to some more, how do I call them, drastic adjustment than what you would normally see during the season.
Yeah, we could... I mean, we could see Capricorn pull like something completely random out of the hat. Maybe go for some kind of crazy funnel strategy. Maybe go for something super aggressive in a lot of the lanes just to go for an all or nothing game. But I don't think they need to do it. I think that they can play sensibly and win it. One of the good things about Caeli, one of the things that Caeli are really good at, is playing to their strengths. If they have a game where they work well as a team, just like in that last game, they'll play it. They got Gorange to make the engage. Hunica came in with a slicey maelstrom, and they absolutely obliterated Capricorn. Capricorn need to do the same thing. They need to identify their strength and try to play to them. Yes, in the last game they couldn't go for that split because all of Caeli came mid lane with a Baron buff, but they need to try to force Caeli to play in their favor, and that's what Caeli are really good at. So Capricorn need to try to beat Caeli at this kind of macro game.
Alright, we're just making sure everything is ready to start, and we should be finally getting into the draft of the second game, because if you haven't noticed already, I'm bad at talking about things when there is nothing happening on the screen. But without further talking, we are jumping into the picks and bans for the second match. Capricorn, and I'm going to repeat that many
there you
times.
go.
On the match point in Cannon ban. Hunike gets to play it for the first time in a while, and it gets banned in the game.
Yep. There you go, Hunica, you're not going to be able to play Kennen for another 3 months now. But yeah, Kennen banned straight away. The Katarina banned straight away. Oh, my voice kind of went. Jarvan being banned as well, and now expect the Zed and the Xerath bans to be coming through as well.
At least that is what we're expecting.
Hey,
yeah, okay. I'm gonna go with the Caeli though as the third ban for Caeli. I don't know how about you. I'm gonna stick with the Caeli. I think they don't care about the Xerath unless they want to make sure that they get on unless they want to do something like G2 does with the speed running of the series, where they want to make sure that Capricorn have absolutely nothing, then I guess banning away Xerath could be an option. Okay.
I don't think Caeli should be scared of the Akali, because Akali is one of those champions that isn't strong early until she gets resources poured into her. That means Cuck the Cookie has to be permanently there. Okay, never mind. We'll just ignore all of that. Akali's been banned. I'm wrong.
It is, and Kai'Sa is also going to be a ban away from Capricorn. This is something that Nick the Panda plays a lot, and Silas is going to be the immediate pickup. Now, where is it going to go? Is it going to be the top lane? Is it going to be the mid lane? I don't think it's going to be something else.
Could be jungle. Silas jungle is still
Okay.
a thing, but yeah, it's not going to be as likely as top or mid. But Diana being hovered, which is very interesting. Okay, it's getting switched over to Sejuani.
It's one of those troll covers that the players are like, I wonder what the casters will say if we will show this champion. No, don't do this. I mean, do this by all means, but yeah.
If the players want to wonder what the casters would say, just hover the Teemo. I mean, why wouldn't you just instantly hover Teemo?
I am already immune to that.
As soon as you see the Teemo, you're like...
This is a hover, yeah.
Yeah, and then they lock it in.
And then it's a placeholder.
Oh god.
Imagine that happening. Well, Caeli, they pick up some of the good parts of their composition. They already lock in the hard engage that they had in game 1 in terms of Sejuani and Alistar, but I like what I'm seeing from Capricorn. They go for hard engage themselves. They got a Silas already, throw in the Amumu into the mix, and you could be doing what Caeli did in game 1.
Yeah, I like Amumu, and I think that they should also pick the Sivir. Take the Sivir away from Caeli and Wintersplit, and of course Nick the Panda. It worked really well for them in the bot lane last game, so just why would you leave open? Of course, Sivir is just too safe, and you saw the CS advantage that Nick the Panda was able to get, and sure enough, they are hovering that Sivir pick now.
It is going to be now over to Aikyo, so Nick the Panda doesn't get his hands on the champion, and this is why I would assume Caeli want to respond with an AD carry right now, because if they don't, then the Capricorn have got 2 bans that they can dedicate to making sure that Nick the Panda gets as bad of a matchup as he possibly can. Tristana is still open, Jinx technically still open if that's something he wants to go for, or maybe even some other AD carry. You could also go for Lucian if you want some early game, but so far Caeli look like they want to go more towards the scaling.
Yeah, and the other thing is, you don't want to show what is going to get played against Silas. Okay, so we've got the Xayah, so yeah, you don't want to pick your top lane yet because you don't know if Tank Boy is playing Silas or if it's going to be Chang on the Silas. And I do like the Xayah pick. It's a bit of a psychological pick as well. You know, they're saying to Capricorn, look, we're going to show you how to play a Xayah into Sivir. Watch and learn, folks. Watch and learn.
And now imagine that IQ does to Nick the Panda. What happened to him in game 1?
That would be beautiful. But the Morgana being a band away from Chris, so clearly Caeli did not like that pick in the bot lane. They must have thought that it just gave them a little bit too much safety, as Malzahar being banned away from Holberg. And again, makes sense. Just allowing Chang A to have a bit more dominance in the lane, and B taking away something that worked for Caeli in game 1.
However, I do feel that Caeli are expecting that Silas to go into the top lane, since Zoe was a champion that Chang pulled out against Caeli in a week 9 match. And so they're just going to get rid of it. Aatrox also going to be off the board. And now, Caeli, what do they go for? Vladimir is open. I would expect that to go to Hunike if it's locked in, just because his performance on this champion throughout the split was pretty good. I'm not going to lie.
And it's also a good flex pick as well, because it leaves Holberg open with the last pick if needed. Otherwise, Hunika can take the final pick, as we're going to see the Nautilus Hobbit, Nautilus Sivir, not a bad bot lane duo at all.
Yeah, Nautilus currently hovered, and it's going to be taken by Capricorn. I see a lot of engage, a lot of pick, a lot of damage, especially once you get to the later stages. The only concern I would have...
Oh,
please take it.
Please.
Please,
I think
Chang.
it's a hover.
No, it could be played by Chang. I think it could be played by Chang.
It makes a lot of sense. And yeah, it's going to be taken. So it will be Chang on the Yasuo. No. Oh, that's... Gorant is just saying that. He's watching the stream. I know he's watching the stream because I said already in Soul. Okay, what, Lissandra, because I mentioned...
Screw you, Gorange.
See, Lissandra would make sense because I mentioned the Lissandra, and it's actually a good pickup, I feel. Whatever you do, don't go Kassadin. And there we go, Anivia. Something that we both know Holberg likes to play, and he can play it well.
Alright, so I do see a lot of now... I'm not gonna really say comfort, but it does seem like a composition that Capricorn will have more ability to perform on. In this second game, and I want to focus on them first, and then we will talk about Caeli. You've got the Yasuo for Chang. This guy loves assassins and mid laners that can whoop your ass. And well, Holberg is playing an Olivia, a champion that can, to a certain extent, defend itself against the Yasuo. But if Kag the Cookie decides to pay attention to the mid lane, which now is so much easier now that Mazar isn't there, snowball Chang, win game 2, force a game 3 for Capricorn. I think it is a very viable plan.
Yeah, so again, we're going to have to focus on this mid lane. Of course, Chang, very, very spicy on that Yasuo. Haven't seen him play it.
User in your channel timed out. User joined your channel.
Okay.
User joined
So
your channel.
we had some weird connection issues, and I think Katika's just got back in.
I didn't even lose my internet. It's just my TeamSpeak going weird. I'm not sure what's
Yeah,
what
it was
has
the same.
happened.
It was the same for me.
Okay.
Yeah, just so.
Yes, we are using TeamSpeak Twitch chat. Come at us.
Right.
It's,
Okay. Maybe we pressed something accidentally. But what
at
I
the
was
same
saying.
time, very interesting.
Yeah. What I was saying was, it's going to be interesting to see how this bot lane matchup goes as well, because while I think that the Nautilus pickup is a strong pick, I just feel like the Galio is just really defensive against it. So anything that Chris throws at Nick the Panda Gorange is just going to instantly disengage with a headbutt. Could even go onto IQ as well if the spell shield is down. So, again, I don't think that there is much that can happen in the bot lane. Top lane and mid is going to be much more interesting, in my opinion. And once again, I think we're going to see a lot of jungle presence from Cut the Cookie in that mid lane because Chang on that Yasuo is their win condition.
And I feel like this is also one of the perfect games when you can compare the strengths of two junglers in a match. I think this is one of the first ways. Both the junglers are sitting on something that wants to gank, something that wants to get the lanes ahead. But also, to a certain extent, I mean, more if you are I Am Your Dead on the Sejuani, you could look to counter jungle the Amumu. The other way around is going to be harder, and you probably are looking to get some of your teammates into it. But the eyes are very much on the jungle and how they play around the top and mid lane. Because if you get yourself ahead, and I'm looking at any of the 4 champions, the Sylas, Vladimir, Yasuo, or Anivia, if they manage to find a big enough lead, then they can run away with the game. Pretty much no matter what side you're on.
Yeah, and going back to what you were talking about this jungle presence and the counter jungling potential from I'm Your Dead, all of the lanes of Capricorn should be winning. Well, not winning, but they should be pushed out. I'd expect Chang to be pushing against Holberg on the Anivia. While Sylas isn't one of the strongest early game picks, he's playing against a Vladimir, so he should have he should be able to push that top lane in. Similarly with a Nautilus and Sivir in the bot lane, you can shove those waves in, which means that Amumu will have priority over, of course, Rift Herald and the Drakes, and his lanes will be able to rotate if I'm Your Dead tries to get that little bit aggressive with the Sejuani and any potential invades.
Something that I also want to point out is that in this game we have a lot of Aftershock users and a lot of champions that want to kill them. I mean, that's pretty much this entire game. You've got either an Aftershock or a champion that wants to kill the Aftershock. And that one just has been nerfed in either this patch or last patch, I don't quite remember. But it was a pretty significant nerf, and the point that I'm trying to get to is that the team that gets ahead will have the luxury of being able to burst the other team's frontline much easier than they would have done that otherwise. And it's a Caeli scrim, everyone. We are going into the rift and into a pause.
Yeah, both supports apparently having some connection issues, same as the first game, them on their toaster PCs. But yeah, I do 100% agree with what you've said, Kachka. Whichever side can get ahead will be able to snowball that little bit. But another thing I want to mention is the Wombo combo, because for the side of Capricorn, Yasuo wants anyone knocked up just so that he can last breath to them. Tank Boy is able to get a little bit of a knock up with the Sylas, and as can Chris with that ultimate, the depth from, sorry, not depth from below, the depth charge, and of course that can knock up multiple people as well. So that could be really big, so watch out for that combo, and I think it could be really big.
Something that also, I mean, you talk about the, Wombo combos, but there is also a lot of AoE damage and abilities in general. For Caeli, you've got the Hemoplague, you've got the Glacial Storm are the 2 big damage AoE abilities in the team fight, but then you also have got the Sejuani, the Glacial Prison applying the slow, and Gorange, of course, he had great engages in game 1, and if you can repeat them in game 2, then it is even better. If Caeli ever managed to catch out Capricorn jumbled up and close together and then use all of their abilities on them, they're going to drop. Because an important mechanic of the Hemoplague that I feel like doesn't really get talked about often is that for the time when the target is infected, that's before they take damage, they take 10% increased damage from all sources. So if Hunike initiates with a Hemoplague and gets it onto all 5 members, then that's pretty much like dealing 10% extra true damage of what you would be dealing already.
And of course with Nick the Panda, who will most likely be trying to burn through people, that's just going to compound upon itself. I also want to take a look at the kind of team fights versus split pushing, because I think both teams want to be team fighting. What we're likely to see is Tank Boy and Hunika in the side lanes, and 4 members of the other team mid. I think both teams have good team fight potential. Of course, we've already discussed the Wombo combo with the last breath on Chang's Yasuo, But then if you look at the side of Caeli, Holberg has so much AoE damage from the ultimate, from the Glacial Storm, and then you've got the engage from Gorange, followed by the AoE damage with Hunica and the Glacial Prison of I Am Your Dead. So possibly slightly in favor of Caeli, but I think team fights will be very even. So it's going to be entirely down to whoever can get the fights in their favor.
And it will be also about whoever can get the early game in their favor as well, because once you get that, the next 20 minutes suddenly becomes so easy. And we are going to come out of the post straight into the Summoner's Rift, into the standard cover, though Caeli are grouping up and could be looking to catch out a member of Capricorn that steps too far forward.
Yeah, again, they don't have the best kind of lockdown at this early level. I mean, if Holberg starts with the Q, he can lock down, of course, but unlikely to be anything this early in as Chris. They're going to go for something.
Oh, the Flash Frost was actually started with by Holberg. Caeli come in, they place the ward, which is, I think I explained already a few times, it gives you so much information in terms of where the other jungler is starting, and they are going to be able to secure that. Capricorn were looking to respond with the same ward, but actually are going to get zoned away.
Okay. And yeah, that ward is just so important, because now that Scuttle Crab level 2 isn't a thing, you get to see whether the jungler's going his Raptors and moving up topside, or whether he's coming down for Krugs or a level 1 or a cheese gank in the bot lane. But once again, both junglers will be starting on their red buffs.
Gorange, Nick the Panda sitting in the tri-bush, actually fishing for either Chris or IQ, just strolling past, but they're going to go around and into their lane. Both junglers starting on the red buff. However, I Am Your Dead will start without a leash, so it will be very hard for Capricorn to determine where exactly I Am Your Dead has started and how his pathing will look.
Yeah, and actually going back to that Cheese and Nick Panda and Gorange was trying, I'll hold that thought as in the top lane.
It is just level 1, but Tankboy gets a nice trade onto Unique. It is a Vladimir though, so he will be able to sustain through with the transfusions.
Yeah, so Nick the Panda and Gorange, they were just sitting on a ward in the tri-bush, which is why nothing happened there, but Chang taking a bit of damage in the mid lane.
He tries to go in for those trades into Holberg, and this is something that we probably will be seeing, the Chang trying to get close and personal and Holberg trying to keep him away.
And I think we're already starting to see how this game's going to go in that top. Oh,
Gorange, he already used the pulverized headbutt away onto Quiz, but he loses so much health in the process. That is a good trade for Capricorn's bot lane.
yeah, we're seeing how this game's going, which is just going to be a lot of short, quick trades, especially in that top and mid lane. Tankboy won't want extended trades, just because Hunica is going to go into his pool of blood, so we'll want to get off that short damage, back out, wait for his cooldowns, go back in again. Same thing for Holberg as well.
Alright, let's just take a look if there are any CS leads. The one that I see that is pretty interesting, considering how top lane is positioned, is Hunike being able to be ahead. He is pushed in by Tankboy Silas ever since the level 1, and he's still able to find those creeps in his advantage, which could be big.
Yeah, and Tankboy just, there's quite a few minions that he can take, and Hunica just freezing this out really nicely and just preventing Tankboy from getting any of this. So a good job from Hunica, but in the bot lane.
IQ already using the black, so that's a double knockup coming in from Gorange. Ignite down the trample as well, and first blood secured by I Am Your Dead. Now Chris might be the next target. Dredgeline into the wall, no flash available. The slow coming through with the Riptide flash forward into the permafrost. I Am Your Dead trying to extend the CC chain as well as that blade collar, and I Am Your Dead with 2 kills in the early game.
Yeah, really well played. And now Cook the Cookie is here in the top lane.
Hunike might be in a 1 versus 2 scenario, so far doing quite well. Half health against Tank, but Cook the Cookie throws away the bandage toss, and Hunike is losing his health quickly, but not quickly enough to die, and will be able to recall.
I think Cook the Cookie could have gone for a flash play there. He threw out the bandage toss a little bit too early, but Tankboy looking for something again now.
He connects the stun with the abduct, good sanguine pool to get himself under the tower. Hunike, that surely must be a recall. I mean, he's still not going for it now. He starts channeling that, and this time he should be out. What I am though looking at is how Caeli snowballed the lead that they already found in their jungle.
Yeah, and I think all that's going to happen is we're going to see I Am Your Dead just focusing a little bit more on that bot lane, try to get Nick the Panda ahead. Alternatively, he could be looking for those counter ganks in the mid lane onto Holberg, just because Chang is pushing this wave really far forward, or he was until this point.
Now he's trying to jump in onto Holberg with those sweeping blades. He has the knockup available. Oh, the Crystallize doesn't lock Chang on the right side of that wall, and right now I feel like Capricorn, they are technically behind due to that gank in the ball lane, but they are still fishing for opportunities, and if you look at CS, they are ahead or even across the board.
Yeah, and they are doing a good job, and it's what we mentioned, that the lane priority as I Am Your Dead in the mid lane.
Looking for the gank onto Chang. He's got this down with the pepper for Saber. The last bet going on to Holbeck. They pop the egg. They will have the resurrection. And now Capricorn, he's going to join the fray. Chang picks up the kill. Capricorn are striking back. I Am Your Dead is next. That's a shutdown and 2 kills over to Chang in the mid lane.
And now in the top lane, Tankboy getting a good trade onto Hunica, who's brought quite low. But crucially, Capricorn have evened this out. And what did we say Capricorn need to do? They need to play around Chang. They need to get Chang ahead. And that's exactly what they have done with a really, really good counter gank in that mid lane.
And now that gives you 2 kills on that Yasuo. You've got the snowball activated.exe if you are Capricorn, and you can put more resources towards this mid lane. And Infernal Dragon might be your prize. There is no contest. They do secure that. Gonch is sticking around. I think the Panda is nearby. Gonch could be looking for the
collapse is coming through.
Double pulverize, and Holbeck is coming in from the top side. I think the Panda is going to get the first goal to Chris, and now this is looking so good in favor of Caeli. They've got already 3, and they're looking for 4, and they will find it at just 7 minutes in with a double kill over to Holberg.
And Caeli bait out Capricorn so hard. They show Gorange there as a carrot, and Capricorn snap at it straight away. And Nick the Panda, Holberg, and I Am Your Dead were on their way. They secure the kills. They get 4 kills in total, and it is absolutely massive for Caeli.
And Nick the Panda, he might have not gotten any kills, but those 5 assists will also do him justice in terms of gold earned. They snowball that lead to 7,000, and yeah, Chang might be 2-1 in the mid lane, which is still good. But it doesn't look as impressive as it just did. And suddenly there are yet again the question marks because Caeli were able to equalize.
Yeah, and 5 assists. If you want to know what 5 assists gets you, well, Nick the Panda just backed. He picked up a pickaxe and he picked up the Brawler's gloves. But in the top lane, Hunica once again getting poked down really low.
He still is sustaining with his transfusions, which is pretty much what Vladimir will do through the entirety of the laning phase. You are looking probably at that one item before you will start doing some major work against that Silas. And this is where Tankboy, I probably want to see him roam. I want to see him go to the mid lane and try to get Chang even more ahead.
And I'm interested to see, because Tankboy hasn't roamed anywhere yet. So the only ult that he's been able to get is Hunica's. As once again, Tankboy going in.
Hunica dodges away from the abduct with his pool. And this is the trade pattern that we've seen for a very long time. And it is something that Hunica will be comfortable with, since he wants to just get to some
Cut
of
the
his
Cookie
items.
getting caught out by the blue buff.
He has gone for the blue buff, but instead he's going to go down to Nick the Panda, giving
And
him
in the
over
top
his
lane,
second. Now Hunica in the top lane, he doesn't have the pull yet again. He survives on a slither of HP. Now I Am Your Dead
He
looking
can
for
turn.
the kill in onto Tankboy. Tankboy has the flash, but I Am Your Dead. That's Sejuani just doing too much damage. And Hunica, he dodges it with the pull, and he's going to be fine now in the bot lane. Gonch going in for the play. Good flash away from Chris as well as the dredge line. Gonch looking for the trample, but the slow will be enough to keep him at bay. Now Nick the Panda losing a lot of health in a short amount of time. The first one will be but Nick the Panda picks up the kill with the blade core. The heal keeps Gonch alive, and now Aikyo, he needs to get the hell out of here. Nick the Panda, he still has the flash. He's going in forward. The kill is going to be forced, but that's a double kill for the AD carry of Caeli.
And this game is snowballing out of Capricorn's control completely. Hunica with the bait in the top lane first, and then Nick the Panda and Gorge somehow turning that around in the bot lane, but in the mid lane.
Chang is going in onto Holberg. He doesn't have that rebirth, so a lot of safety that Nivea normally provides is gone. But you still have the wave clear. With one press of a button, Chang suddenly doesn't have a wave to play around.
Yeah, and it's what we mentioned in the draft phase, that Holberg, once he hits 6, will be able to just freeze out these waves entirely. And now Chang just has no way to really capitalize on that early double kill that he got at the start of the game. Going on to CS as well, as Tankboy once again getting off this favorable trade onto Hunika. But the CS in the mid lane, of course, once again in favor of Chang. But in the bot lane, Nick the Panda once again out CSing IQ.
And he's 4-0-5 with an Infinity Isaias. Chang in the mid lane. He's not having a fun time right now against the Anivia. Gorange looking for the Rono. Kagakuki throwing out the bandage toss. Gorange uses the headbuff, throws in the Amumu under the tower, and the turret shots are coming in. Gorange is going to get the kill. Nick the Panda, he's stuck alone in the bot lane, but he's more than fine even without that ultimate, able to sidestep the dredge line. And Caeli are getting everything they want, and Capricorn, they cannot find a single thing.
And Caeli now, they're looking for the rotation to this bot lane. Surely they're going to pick something up here.
It is going to be a 3 against 2 headbutt pulverized onto Gorange as well. I mean, Chris, I should say, as well as the Glacial Prison. Depth are trying to buy some time. I think the Panda is unstoppable, as says their line on the top. Chemo playing down onto Hunike. That was hijacked from Tankboy. And not a lot happening just now, but with Tankboy getting his trades better and better against Hunike, I think this is where Capricorn need to actually start looking.
Yeah, and bot lane turret is going to fall. I don't think there's anything IQ can really do about this. He can't get close enough to wave clear, and 12 kills to 2 with a 5k gold advantage 11 minutes in.
And they're gonna get that first tower, as you have said, extending their gold lead even more. And this is looking like a tough one for Capricorn. They have finished 5th in the split, and they have lost to Caeli. So by all means, they aren't definitely a bad team. But they don't seem to really be able to find that one carry that could get to them. I mean, it is Chang in this game, looking at how it has developed, but Caeli are just playing around him so well.
Yeah, and the thing is, Caeli knew that Capricorn are going to try to play around Chang. They timed Gorange with the rotations with I Am Your Dead have been so crucial. Think to that Amumu kill that they just got 2 minutes ago. That's what they've done, and they've been doing it for a while, and they've got it to work. But Chang looking for something.
Oh, good force on the Featherstone. Nick the Panda won't have that cooldown for a while, and it's huge, because we talked about the engage from Capricorn. Just because they're behind doesn't mean that that engage is gone. It just means that you need to pick it more carefully. And a Zaya without a flash or a Featherstorm is definitely the correct target.
And I think it's just going to be a bit more of the same. Just seeing if Caeli can pick anything, because I have a feeling that Capricorn are going to continue. They've been a little bit too over-aggressive. They've been trying to find stuff too much, as if there's no tomorrow. And it has cost them, and we're going to have to see if they can play and stop making these mistakes.
Tankboy just jumping in onto Hunike once again. He does have the Aftershock, which is something that we actually didn't talk about, because usually you see Silas's take Conquerors and it gives you more damage in the trades, but now you can see that Hunike is just allowed to sustain off because Tankboy never seems to have enough damage to finish off the kill.
Yeah, and it's what we mentioned, that we're going to have these short trades. Tankboy just needs to continue doing these trades. You get Hunika low and low with each one, wait for his cooldown to go back in. The issue is, after every trade, Hunika just pops in a transfusion and just gets his HP up that little bit too much. But look at this, Gorange and I Am Your Dead, hoping that Tankboy would stay, but they haven't, so... But he hasn't, sorry. So they are going to just stand in the bush for a bit longer.
And I want to take this moment to actually talk about Gorange, because this guy has often been tried to be the playmaker for Caeli. Often when Falk is playing, he doesn't even need to be, because in the ball lane his job is just to not die. But now, he's been grouping up with I Am Your Dead. He has participated in 11 out of 12 kills. His engages in game 1 were on point. In game 2, I didn't even see a whiffed engage. It all has been as it should be. And this guy, if Caeli make it to semifinal, is definitely a player to watch.
Holberg.
As I'm saying it, Holberg forced to flash down in the mid lane under his own tower, just at the exchange of the Ignite and the Death Charge from Chris.
Yeah, I think he does have his... passive up. Yep, he has the rebirth available, as the top lane outer turret is going to fall as well. And as you mentioned, Gorange has been absolutely huge game. Oh, re-engage.
That is a great dredge line from Chris, but do they have enough damage to burst down Holberg? They at least force out the resurrection, but they do not get the kill.
And going back, actually in the top lane, Gorange might be looking for a potential engage onto Tankboy. He is 3v1 here.
Tankboy does hijack the Glacial Prison, which gives Capricorn even more engage. The key word for this team. If they want to come back, then they will need to, at one point, go in and pick off the right targets.
Yeah, the issue is that they only have two real ways of engaging, which is from Cuck the Cookie with the bandage toss, and Chris with the dredge line. Of course, Chang can go in with a last breath, but it is a little bit risky if his team aren't able to join in straight away.
Caeli are now sweeping vision this top side river. Make sure they can pick up the Herald and break open the middle lane towers, because it seems like that this game, once again, they aren't really able to get this objective. As now in the ball lane, Chang is going to get just slowly taken up by the Hemopic. He's now going in for the last breath together with the Ignite in onto the Hurricane as the fight erupts around the Herald as well. We are getting the fights on all front. It is actually going to be stolen by the Cookie. So Capricorn gets out for themselves. Already getting the first kill to hold back. Nigga Panda though, he's still alive in this backline, doing fine and dishing out the damage. It is a 1 for now. The first one going in with the flash, but the good flash away from IPO. The attack tag connects from Tankboy onto Nigga Panda, but Nigga Panda is simply godlike with his kiting. He gets the double. He's looking for the triple, and he finds it as Caeli gets 4.
And he survives with about 50 HP after taking that turret shot. Chang is still in the bot lane trying to get their first turret of the game, and he's not even going to be able... Actually, he will just be able to get this as Hunika makes his way over. But Capricorn have to sacrifice so much to be able to steal that Rift Herald.
Silver lining, they get the objective, and I would argue to some extent they managed to speed up the inevitable, but get something out of it as well, because it was a matter of time before Caeli were going to break open that tower. Giving 3 kills to Nick the Panda is probably not something you want to be doing, but it is just the byproduct of how things have turned out. The problem for Capricorn still stands. They are insanely behind, and those engages, they need to not only connect to Holberg, they need to also get Nick the Panda together.
Yeah, it's a 9-0-5 Nick the Panda on Caeli. He's absolutely right now. And the issue for Capricorn is they've got a Rift Herald, but they can't do anything with it. They aren't in a position to use that, as Infernal Drake is up, so we're most definitely going to be seeing a fight over this very, very important Drake.
Tankboy sitting in the bot lane, Honika using the Proto Belt forward, half HP on that Stylus. He needs to be so careful. Hemoplay doesn't connect, but I am dead. Dashing forward in onto Tankyboy, gets the Permafrost stun, and it is going to be a kill shorty over to Hunika. Now look at the river though. Chang trying to go in. Gorange gets a massive knockout with the pulverize. Look at the Panda. He's just going through, just cutting the feathers through everyone. Good boomerang play though makes it an equal trade. But here comes I Am Your Dead. The unstoppable front line for Caeli, standing strong. They will be turning towards that Infernal Drake. He's attempting to go for the steal, and he doesn't find it. And then I Am Your Dead gets the dragon, Nick the Panda gets the kill, and Caeli get everything they want.
And the only death for Caeli is Gorange. The int for Drake makes sense from Cuck the Cookie. He has to try to get that Infernal, try to give Capricorn this 2 Infernal advantage. Unfortunately, he's not able to steal that like he was able to steal Rift. And once again, Caeli taking a big advantage, take the Drake, and they take the fight. Gorange able to tank so much damage during that fight.
I mean, that is pretty much the Alice start. It is just hard. It is hard if you are Capricorn, and I know I sound like a broken record at this point, but they are so far ahead. They have so many tools to keep getting ahead. That's the point. We talked about the aftershocks. All the 3 ones that are sitting on Capricorn right now, they're not nearly as effective as they would be last patch. Considering even that Chris didn't really build any armor or magic resist because he's playing support, so it doesn't have that much value, and Tankboy is going more for the bruiser AP build, so he isn't getting as much value from it as well. And you've got one item on Hunike, one item on the Holberg, you've got 2.5 items on Nick the Panda. Those guys are absolutely going to cut your health bar.
And he's already invested towards that early game QSS, just more and more protection coming in, and that QSS is really important until Gorange builds a Mikhail's Crucible, if he goes for that. But expect to see a Zeke's Convergence and a Locket coming through from Gorange very soon.
That was just sad to watch. The Herald utilized in the mid lane. Of course, Capricorn didn't have any other choice, as it would be running out anytime soon. And Caeli, they just
Bang's in the top lane, so Caeli can go for the engage here.
Gorange jumping in, he gets the knockup in onto the Cookie, and Chris throws down the death charge. Gorange is just going to get out, and Nick the Panda, he's now in the front line, throwing down the feathers. Chris is stuck, has to burn the flash. The Glacial Storm was slowing him down. In the bot lane, there's also 1v1 between Tankboy against Hunike. Both about half HP. Hemoplague is going to be taken by Hunike, and he's trying to win with the Sanguine pull, and Tankboy is dead. Hunike on a killing spree. Caeli find one in the bot lane, and now they are looking for the mid lane tower.
And Chang is still staying in that top lane. He's pushing. Will he back now, or will he commit to this split push? I think he will, but here's the engage.
Gorange head pulverize in onto Chris. Kageto picks up the first kill, but it is supports traded back. Chang still putting down the pressure, as you said, and now Hunike is recalling. Caeli realized we need to get out. We're getting so many kills, we're getting so many towers, but we cannot let Capricorn break open the base. Chang is still staying. Hunike is now in this base, and the inhibitor tower is secured. That is a reasonably good play from Capricorn.
And I think Caeli should have just stuck with it, should have just kept pushing, because they had the opportunity to. They could have broken in to Capricorn's base, but as it turns out, Capricorn is the one breaking into Caeli's base. So Baron is available, and Capricorn are doing a good job using Chang in this side lane, but the issue for them is their only strong member, their only member who is ahead on their team is Chang, and he is not in these fights.
And even if he was in those fights, let's ask ourselves the question, what is he going to do? Unless Chris finds a massive depth charge, he has no way to get into those fights. And then Nick the Panda is just going to kite him with all those feathers. We see what is happening. He's just standing back, throwing all the feathers in with his passive, and then the Blade Caller destroys Capricorn. I'm really trying to look for a more creative word, but that's the only thing that comes to mind right now.
And Caeli now, they're playing sensibly. They're pushing in top lane, the one lane without an inner turret, without an inhibitor turret, and this makes sense to be playing around that top lane. At least leave Hunica in this side lane, because at the minute it's Holberg dealing with Tankboy. And this is what I mentioned, Capricorn need to force Caeli to play their game. This is what they're doing. They're trying to force Caeli into a 1-3-1 setup, and they're doing a good job of it so far, just because of that inhibitor turret that they were able to get.
And we'll need to judge how much effect it has, because Anivia is known for being obnoxious at wave clear. So Tankboy won't get any tower time. He won't really be able to chunk it down, and Holberg can just press one button and deny all the pressure for the next 30 seconds. And both of those members have the teleports, so they're just happy with doing that for as long as it takes. But are Capricorn getting anything out of it on the other side of the map?
Yeah. Yes, they are. And that's why this push is so good. Even if Holberg can clear out
I am
these
your dead.
waves.
He's jumping in onto Chris. Pulverize headback back in. I am your dead. He's going to get the kill, and that's a good pick over by Caeli.
And that's exactly what Caeli need to do. As in the bot lane, Tankboy might be able to find something.
Alright, this Holberg finding the flash first, as well as the frostbite. Good flash away from the abduct. The ultimate now has been hijacked. Holberg needs to be very careful as Chang in the top lane. Headbutt pulverize in from Gorange, and the Featherstone could keep the Nick the Panda alive. And Caeli, they get the second one. This time it's the Chang, is the big member for Capricorn. And they could be turning to that Baron anytime soon.
And meanwhile, Tankboy not able to find the kill onto Holberg. He's able to pop the egg, but that is it. And as you mentioned, they can go for Baron here because Chang is dead. Here comes the TP from Holberg, and I don't think there's any way for Capricorn to contest this.
Kangaroo Cookie has just recalled And yeah, there is just too much damage available to Caeli. And just look at their items. Hunike has completed death cap. Nick the Panda is sitting on 3 items. They're going to obliterate Capricorn if they ever get to do any work against them.
Yeah, right now it's Capricorn just have to sit back and take a massive beating. They just need to use Chang, IQ and Tankboy to try to clear those waves that are going to be getting pushed in as quickly as possible and deny as much turret damage as possible. But they cannot win a fight right now.
Definitely not a straight up 5 versus 5. They would need to get some sort of immaculate engage. Pick up both Nick the Panda and Holberg, and don't let Hunike reach the backline. And that, if that sounds like an impossible scenario, then well done viewer, because it pretty much is an impossible scenario.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see what Capricorn can do, because it's going to get to the stage where they will have to find some fight or concede the game. And Gorange looking for the engage.
He does for the spell shield as well as the Glacial Prison. IQ forced to burn the flash. He will stay alive, but doesn't have that summoner to keep himself safe.
And there's the wave clear that we're talking about, able to just get it through quite quickly. And don't forget, they have really good wave clear because Tankboy can steal that Anivia ultimate. Oh, but Chang's looking for something in the top lane.
He's trying to go in onto Hunike, but we've got the death cap, and so there's a lot of damage, and I am really going to have to see him pull out something significant before he finds any sort of 1v1. And the 4-man stack of Caeli in the meantime, they're looking for the melee character to go ready onto Havoc.
Okay,
That's the big engage! Look at the Panda, he's already shut down by Chang! I mean, that's a big knockout from Gorge in response, and the Glacial Storm is still doing all the work. That is a double kill for Chang. They're looking for more kills. They find the 3rd one, and now Holbeck is trying to escape for his life. That's a triple kill for Chang. He's going to get a kill onto Holbeck, the quadra kill, and Capricorn find the engage.
And that's, you said it, does it sound like an impossible scenario? Well, it is. But guess what? Capricorn said, no it isn't. They find the play, they find the last breath, they shut down Nick the Panda, and they are turning this game on its head. Hunike is the only one left with Baron buff, and Capricorn are looking to take the final outer turret in that mid lane.
They are getting some gold to themselves, and this was a great engage, and I am excited for Capricorn right now. The problem I have, it doesn't solve too much long term. Yes, they get 4 kills onto Chang. He's going to be massive. But are Caeli ever going to repeat that mistake? I think it is highly unlikely.
The thing is, if you're playing as Caeli and you are grouping up, you have already made that mistake, because that is a great thing about the depth charge. It will knock up so many people. So if you're grouped up, be prepared to take that knock up to your face. Be prepared to take the last breath to your face. I'm sorry, Nick the Panda, but QSS does nothing against knockups. It does not deny knockups. So they have to play around that. They have to realize we cannot let Chang be in that top lane. When Chang left Hunike alone in the top lane, that should have been ringing alarm bells for Caeli. They should have realized, right, we have to respect this Yasuo. We have to respect Chang coming into the mid lane now. Play slow and let Hunike push in the side lane.
Now there is still Baron buff left on Hunike, and Caeli are looking to make the most out of it. They're grouping as a team and trying to seize out an objective, and what you said is very much right. The only way for Nick the Panda to deny the depth charge is Featherstorm. This is the most important cooldown we need to be tracking in any team fight that is about to erupt. Also, what ultimate is Tankboy stealing? I don't quite recall which one he engaged in. I just remember depth charge and so much chain CC that Nick the Panda could do absolutely nothing with that. But if he gets the Glacial Prison, then he will be able to get the single target CC. If he gets the Hemoplague and throws it on top of the engage from Chris and Kak the Cookie, then Caeli are going to drop faster than we've seen Capricorn do so far.
And also, just looking at items, Zhonya's has come through from both Hunike and from Holberg. But I also want to clear up, because Gorange has finally built his Zeeks. When he ults and when he starts tanking, Nick the Panda is going to obliterate and absolutely obliterate Capricorn. So watch out for that now, as Capricorn, they're looking to try to find the pick as Caeli make their way to Drake, and they might be picking up the Anivia.
Oh, that was
great
a
bandage
good
cross.
instinct from Holberg. He's able to flash away. Were there any wards?
No?
Or was it just intuition? I'm just... because there aren't any wards in the area.
That is really good intuition. I have no idea how he suspected that, but really, really sensible from Holberg there. Playing by the rule, if I can't see in a brush, they are all in the brush. And it pays dividends because that pick could have been massive for Capricorn.
Now Gorange, he's got the Moby Boots, he's got the movement speed, he's threatening to go in. The next dragon will be spawning. It is a third Infernal. Both these teams, you know they're gonna fight over it, and it is already shaping up to be a 5 against 5 in this river. Let's take a look at all the ultimates. They are up. It is going to be the Glacial Prison hijacked by Tank Boy.
And I honestly think Hunica should be in one of the side lanes split pushing this. Gorange is going to tank. He might end up having to suicide for this.
He does find a double knockup. Tank Boy's in the backline. He's trying to force anything onto Nick the Panda, who already has to force his Versal. And Chang is in the backline. He's already going to have a look at Hunike. He gets a triple. This time it's the Vladimir popping off. And Hunike is going to find 3 members of Capricorn. Tank Boy trying to run away. It doesn't matter if you kill Nick the Panda, because there's someone else on Caeli taking over. And Hunike charges up. The Tides of Blood slowed down by the Chain Lash. Chang is still alive and well, so you do have to watch it. But Caeli managed to win the fight nevertheless.
Yeah, it's a 3v1, and crucially, this time, even though Caeli take a lot of damage, as Tank Boy...
The engage is not over yet. Chang is going to get knocked up. Hunike is go like the Infernal Dragon. That is a big last breath, but it doesn't matter. And Hunike gets an extended pentakill.
And that is absolutely massive for Hunike. He's 8-0 now. And this is, you mentioned this at the start, this is a game of whoever can get ahead, who can burn through front lines quicker. Well, Caeli did it this time round. And that's just the damage from Hunike coming through. Absolutely massive there. They took down Nick the Panda and they thought, we can win this now. Hunike said, you forgot that I have damage as well, guys. And now Barrier is surely going to be going over to Caeli. I'm not sure if Capricorn can actually contest this.
Capricorn have no idea it is going down, or they might be suspecting it, but they are too far away. The blue ward comes in, but the Baron is already on 4,000. They are too far away. And it is secured by I Am Your Dead. 32 minutes in. Caeli, they are looking to take the series 2-0. 13,000 gold in the lead. This game definitely looks closer than it is. But now, they might be looking to book themselves to go against Arctic in the semi-finals.
And I want to go back to that last team fight, because I think the issue there was Tank Boy went into the back line a bit too early. He didn't focus. He needs to stay with Chang. He needs to keep Chang alive for as long as possible, and the whole team needs to be around Chang as Chang tries to destroy Nick the Panda, then moves on to the likes of Holberg and Hunica. So expect them to try to correct upon this mistake next time round.
The Glacial Storm from Holberg is such an oppressive zone in front of that tower. Chang is going to be 1v1ing against Hunike in this top side. That is now a 4-item Vladimir. Shurelia's Reverie completed. Hunike is going to be running into the backline at Mach 5 speed.
And Shurelia's Reverie is one of the items I like, but Tank Boy looking to find something onto Gorange here, so I Am Your Dead.
Kagde Cookie in the front line. Look at the knockups. He's losing HP so damn fast. And here comes Hunike. That's a big root though. Chang coming in with the last breath. However, can he find the damage that he needs? The Panda getting the kill to Chris. Chang is down. IQ on the backline still trying to throw out the blades, but he just doesn't do a damn thing. And Caeli, they find the ace. They will get the base. It is the GGs that are coming through in the chat. And Caeli will take the 2-0 into the semi-finals.
And I Am Your Dead with that Gargoyle Stone play. He was absolutely massive. I think he had about 4,000 HP. And that's going to be Caeli.
Caeli 2-0. The second game much more chaotic, but they gold-wise still finish in as dominant of a fashion. Hunike coming up clutch in that team fight on the Vladimir, and after that they just didn't give them a single chance to come back.
Yeah, really nicely played from Caeli. It was a slow game. It was a grind, but they were able to do it nonetheless. One mistake in one team fight, but that was it. After that point, they came right back in, and they were able to find this 2-0 against Capricorn.
And I just want to talk about one guy that has definitely also stepped up in ways we haven't really talked about too much. Gorange finished this game with 1-3-29. There were 34 kills. I can just pull out the calculator because no maths on stream, at least no mental maths, right?
I mean,
let's work out the kill participation for that game.
30 out of 34.
88%.
However, forget about just Gorange. I'm Your Dead with 26 kills and Nick the Panda
That's
with
also
27.
true.
And then you're looking at 14 and 15 from Hunike and Holberg. The jungle and that bot lane were so massive. That's just how important Nick the Panda and Gorange were. And we saw I'm Your Dead with those ganks in the bot lane. And that's just how big he became. That's how good I'm Your Dead was in this game.
And not only that, the Sejuani Alistar Goon Squad in the mid-game, or even the early game, I would say, just going around the map, finding picks left, right, and center, getting Caeli to a point where it didn't matter if there was that one good fight, that Capricorn fight, it didn't matter if they got to Nick the Panda. Caeli were sufficiently ahead to not care, to just push through and get the 2-0 win in the end.
And also, I just want to give a massive kudos to Capricorn because they kept trying to look for those fights. They kept finding fights, and I'm not going to lie, those fights were favorable to them. The only reason they lost is because they were just so far behind at that point. They just did not have the items to match the damage, and Caeli were able to get away with so much just because they had so much damage. They were just that far ahead that they could make mistakes and get away with it. So kudos to Capricorn regardless for finding those fights and taking that game to the wire regardless.
I definitely have to agree with that, because just imagine if IKEO had 4 items in that last team fight. It would have looked very much different, but it did not. It will be Caeli taking the 2-0 against Capricorn. I am just looking to let you know, guys, when the next stream will be for the playoffs. But if you are new to the stream, then definitely join our Discord. If anyone could please link it, because the Nightbot is not working, then I will be very grateful. We will see you tomorrow for actually the semi-final for Division 4, I believe, or the quarter-final for Division 2. Not sure which one is going to get streamed. So join us in the Discord, guys, so that you will know. And with that, Caeli, they are moving on to the semi-finals after a 2-0 sweep. And thank you all for joining us. My name was Kaczka, I was joined by Milky, production was Voman, and we're going to wish you a good night.
Sound muted.
The night beckons while you dream.